One of the most contentious issues in American politics has been around the issue of abortion, reproductive rights of women against pro-life campaigners essentially coming from their Christian beliefs. Kamala Harris has called on Congress to pass legislation guaranteeing federal law abortion access, a right that stood for nearly 50 years before being overturned by the Supreme Court. And she's promoted the administration's efforts short of a federal law, including steps to protect women who travel to obtain abortions and limit how law enforcement collects medical records. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump has said that he believes the procedure should be restricted and announced last spring that decisions on access and cutoffs should in fact be left best to states. Trump said that he would not sign a national abortion ban into law this time around. That, remember, is one of the key issues on which the election is set to be divided, and that's exactly what we would now do a deep dive on. Where does American politics stand as far as abortion is concerned? But first, listen in to what Oprah Winfrey said on this, and we come back and discuss this in detail.
Over the last couple of nights, we have all seen brave people walk onto this stage and share their most private pain. Amanda and Josh, Caitlin, Hadley, they told us their stories of rape and incest and near-death experiences from having the state deny them the abortion that their doctor explained was medically necessary. And they've told us these things for one reason, and that is to keep what happened to them from happening to anybody else. Because if you do not have autonomy over this, if you cannot control when and how you choose to bring your children into this world and how they are raised and supported, there is no American dream.
All right, that's a question. Let's take to Joshua Wilson, joining us on the broadcast, Professor of Political Science, University of Denver. Mr. Wilson, morning to you. And the question is, it boils down to abortion, doesn't it? And large pockets of America, that could be a key issue on which voters would decide.
Yeah, both campaigns really need to work on mobilization. So getting voters not just to side with them, but to actually turn out. And Democrats have really seen since the overturning of Roe versus Wade that abortion is one way to really mobilize their voters. And so this is a really central issue for the Democratic Party.
It indeed is. Let's take our viewers through some of the key facts, which is that 22 states ban or restrict abortion. 14 states have enacted near total abortion ban. And millions of girls and women are denied abortion care. Nearly 1 in 5 travel out of their state for abortion care. And there are, of course, possible penalties that could be imposed from imprisonment to medical license suspension. So which are the swing states, Dr. Wilson, that you think this could actually be of great significance? Because that's where it boils down to.
Yeah, so really there's a lot of discussion around Arizona and what's called the blue wall, also with Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania. And so when you showed that map just a little while ago there, Arizona is one of the states that actually has...
Let's keep that map on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Arizona is one of the states that actually has abortion on the ballot. And so the hope there, right, for the Democratic Party is that you're not only bringing voters to come talk or to come vote on the presidency, but you're really getting them to come out also and vote directly on abortion. So that those two topics can be, mutually reinforcing there. But really this election is going to boil down to a handful of states. We know that abortion has been a winning issue for Democrats. It's been a very problematic issue for Republicans. And the margins are so close in this election that the Democratic Party is really hoping that focusing on abortion, making reproductive rights a real central issue, that it'll matter enough, that you can get enough voters out and voting for not just abortion, but for a slate of Democratic candidates.
Is there some dilution in Trump's position as well, from saying that there could be a ban to saying that, I leave it on to the states?
Yeah, so it's really interesting to see the way that Trump is running on abortion now versus the way that Trump ran on abortion back in 2016, right? In 2016, he had the position of being able to talk about abortion, that he was going to overturn abortion by appointing new justices to the Supreme Court. And, that was able to turn out Republican voters. That was a real winning strategy to get those Republican voters to turn out. Now we're seeing that the Trump campaign and Republicans have learned since Roe versus Wade was overturned in the Dobbs decision that abortion is deeply problematic for them. And so Trump is trying to walk this line between saying that he's kind of not going to do anything else, that this is now up to the states, and as we saw in the debate, falsely saying that, the majority of people in the US wanted this. So he's trying to walk this line where he doesn't completely disavow his old position, but he's trying to make the election about something else. Like, he would much rather talk about immigration and crime and would be very happy not having to talk about abortion at all, which again is why the Democratic Party is keeping the issue front and center. It's good for their party, it's bad for the Republicans.
Indeed, a key issue on which America will be voting on the 5th of November. Ballot votes, of course, start much sooner than that. Appreciate you joining us on the broadcast with that perspective.